Murtz Jaffer here with another Big Brother Canada eviction interview. I am here with the Ro Show himself, Rohan. Let's get right into it. Rohan, we can talk about the double eviction later, but the question that I want to ask you the most is why you chose not to use the veto on Austin last week.
Yeah, I chose not to use veto on Austin because I felt very strongly that no matter what I did with it, one of the two would have gone, either Austin or Braden, because I felt in that scenario, the invisible HOH was either Tina or Tara would have gone up on the block as a replacement nominee to send the other packing. So it was just a matter of, do I want three people coming after me in the game who I know for a fact are Jed, Beth, and Tashawn, or do I want 7 people coming after me because I exposed everybody to being named a replacement nominee? Austin and Braden have different strengths. They are very different players, similar people. And, Braden ended up being a strong asset to me at the end of the day. So I do not regret the decision that I made.
Can you tell me more about the balancing act that one has to walk in the house? You have to protect your allies, but also ensure that you aren't seen protecting them.
Yeah, that's right. And walking into the house, I tried to develop a number of different relationships to ensure that if my allies were put in danger, then I would have some outlets, I would have some options in there. And at the end of the day, it's an individual game, and I was always going to make decisions that were best for me and what gets me further in the house. And if I had to, toss up one of my allies as an option, then I was prepared to do that. And the plan was obviously to have backup scenarios in place. And obviously, my closer allies went home left, right, and center. Kyle and Austin obviously extremely close to me, and it made it tough in the end to stick around.
Take me back to the House meeting this week when Tara revealed the Oddballs Alliance. What did you think when she said that?
Oh, totally unnecessary. Not a strong point for her argument. Actually, it probably fueled the other side of the house even more. A lot of the things that Victoria was accusing Tara of in that house meeting were things that I had actually said and done about Victoria, because Victoria the week prior had won Invisible HOH and put up 2 of our supposed close allies on the block and sent Austin packing. So, I wasn't about to own up to anything in that conversation. I was just prepared to let Tara take the heat, unfortunately. She did not need to reveal the oddballs, though. It just was not valid in the argument. It was not necessary, and probably just did more damage to her than anything.
Your veto wins put a big target on your back. Did you know you were in trouble as soon as the double eviction was announced?
100%, yeah. When Kiefer originally put me on the block with Kyle, I felt very strongly if I were on the block next to him at the end of the day, I probably would have gone. I don't know if that's true or not. So I won that one. I probably didn't need to win the one. I probably didn't need to win the veto when Austin and Braden were on the block, but I did anyway. And then obviously this past week I had to win it to take myself off and Victoria to be named a replacement nominee. I knew going into the double that if I didn't win either the HOH or the veto, I was going to be in some trouble. So I was prepared to walk out if that didn't happen, which it didn't.
Tell me about your relationship with Kiefer. There was the pantry incident, and then things really seemed to devolve from there. Why do you believe he had it out for you?
There was the pantry incident, and you know what? Kiefer was playing both sides, and there was obviously a plan to flip the vote on me in week 2, and I almost went home by a vote of 6-4, but Victoria, ironically, was the one that kept me around, and I think Kiefer was prepared to vote against me in that situation, so, we wanted to call him out on that in that particular situation, but, it's partly my fault for not recognizing the type of player that Kiefer was going to be, and, for me, when we kept him over LaToya, I thought for sure he would have put up 2 of the 3 people that voted against him in that eviction, but he didn't. He put Kyle and I on the block. I think partly due to a personal vendetta from the pantry incident, but partly I think Jedson and Tashawn were controlling a little bit of the strings there. And I ended up on the block due to multiple people wanting me up there. And at the end of the day, I can only see it as a compliment that they wanted me out.
Did you know it was over when Kiefer won HOH and Ty won the veto?
Yes. When Kiefer won HOH, I didn't think it was over yet. He told me earlier in the day that he would put Braden and I on the block, just obviously to save his game. And I tried to talk him out of it briefly, but I knew it wasn't going to happen. So if one of us came off the block, I don't know what Kiefer would have done, truthfully. I don't know if he would have just stuck up Tina or Tara and sent the other packing, or if he would have made a bigger move and stuck up, Jed or Tashawn on the block. When Tishan obviously won the veto, writing was on the wall. I was done. There was no way they were going to keep me over Braden. At that point, I'm a bigger threat than Braden. So tried my best, but it just wasn't going to happen.
In your pre-game interviews, you said you wanted to play a manipulative and strategic game. Do you think you did so?
I think I said a lot of things in the pre-interviews that didn't actually pan out in the house, and part of that was because of the team twist. Obviously, I was not expecting that going in. We were going to be placed in two teams, and even further, I didn't expect that I was going to take back-to-back losses to start the season and be at risk of going home. So the fact that I was on the block week one with 5 others really threw me for a loop, and took the strategy that I had pregame and really just threw it out the front door. And I had to play a totally different game. I had to win competitions, even though I didn't plan to win a large number of competitions. And the team twist, I really enjoyed it. It was something new, something different, but it definitely put me in a rough position in the house where I was basically on my hands and knees throughout the first 6 weeks, and put me in a rough position in the house where I obviously ended up leaving in the double.
And we're almost done. The oddballs seem to have the numbers but couldn't win an HOH when it mattered. Do you believe your allies were throwing competitions to not get any blood on their hands?
We did have the numbers. Truthfully, I don't think Tina or Tara wanted to win a competition. I'm not sure if they tried. I did throw a competition as well. I threw the Dream Cruise competition, but that obviously was prior to the oddballs even forming. And Victoria, honestly, she won the Invisible HOH, so she was part of those numbers. And unfortunately, when she won the Invisible HOH, Austin and Braden ended up on the block. Austin and Braden were never ever putting Vic on the block. So for that, for me, that was puzzling. And I think if Jed and Tishan were on the block during that HOH, this is a whole new ball game. And so we did actually win one, but it just didn't pan out as planned.
So, Rohan, who would you like to see win?
So, you know what? I think Kiefer, honestly, truth be told, has the resume right now. I don't think competition wins mean everything, but he is playing a good game. He took me out. He took my closest ally out. But I want to see Braden win this game. I hope Braden can win an HOH and toss the 2 boys on the block and make a big move here.
Sounds great. Rohan, thank you so much.
Thank you, Murtz.